Okay, hello and welcome everybody to today's Sigstore community meeting. It is actually the last community meeting we will be having for 2022. So just a quick update. We'll start just on meeting end. We've cancelled all the community calls through the end of December and into early January. So the next contributor-facing meeting will be January 10th. Just a quick note, I would be around for that meeting. So we're looking for someone to kick that off. But as we've seen, Hayden now has ability to start that. But yeah, likewise, anybody else, I think we figured out how to get somebody else kicking off the meeting so we can set up co-hosts as needed. Great.
Happy to help out if no one else is available.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Hayden. Okay, so we'll be launching into the project round robin, then community updates, and then at the end a section for any newcomers or folks returning who'd like to say hello or welcome or just tell us what they're working on. So let's jump in with the round robin, and just I'll quickly say as well, just feel free to add agenda items to the relevant section or to any other business. Okay, round robin. So Rico, any updates there? We'll move on to Fulcio.
We don't have a whole lot of updates. I wanted to mention this PR that should hopefully get merged soon. We just need to test it out. But like how we have an integration with GitHub Actions, where from a GitHub action, you're able to request a code signing certificate. BuildKite CI has expressed interest and authored this PR to also support fetching code signing certificates. We're super excited about this. We just need to test out this PR. There's a little bit of conversation. Feel free to take a look and chime in if you have anything you'd like to add to the discussion. I'll also mention that there's another open issue. We've been discussing how to find some uniformity in the identity token claims between CIs, so it should be even easier in the future to onboard new CI/CD platforms that are interested in fetching code signing certs.
Very cool. Yeah, that looks great. And yeah, look forward to when this is out, and maybe we can do some posts or tweets, get it on the landscape for sure. But yeah, super cool. Okay, anything else on Fulcio? Otherwise, let's move on to Cosign and how's progress going towards 2.0.
I can also give that update. And I think I see Zach. So Zach, feel free to chime in too if you want to. So Cosign 2.0 will be the next major release of Cosign. The primary focus is now that Recore and Fulcio are GA'd, we no longer consider them experimental, so we're removing the Cosign experimental flag. We're also taking the opportunity to make a number of other changes that are breaking, but are necessary for a number of reasons. There's been a lot of good progress on this. At the bottom of this issue is a current list of all the remaining PRs, which I believe are mostly all in progress. I think so. Some of them just have a little bit of remaining discussion. We will be cutting a release candidate soon so that you can start testing out 2.0. And then these are remaining issues that we consider blocking for the 2.0 release. We're chatting every week or every other week to make sure that this list gets burned down. One thing I will say where we'll definitely need a little bit of help if anyone's interested is the second to last issue here on documentation. There's a lot of places to update in the repos themselves, in examples, in readmes, in our blog post. It would be good to go back and edit blog posts to make sure that they're up to date when people find them, our documentation. So this is not just describing the new features, but also describing primarily the breaking changes where we're removing the flag. So that's definitely a place where we'd appreciate any help. if you're interested, let me know. I need to break this down into, I think, a little more granularity on where we need updates. And we'll have a blog post also that I've drafted for 2.0 that we'll send out once 2.0 comes out.
Yeah, no, that's also very exciting. So yeah, and I think I guess because of the experimental flag, there's just lots of places littered around that have to be cleaned up. Yeah. And timing wise, there's no specific, we'll just keep an eye on the drawer as things get closed, right?
Yeah, so the release candidate, we're aiming for this week to do it, and we wouldn't cut 2.0 before the end of the year. I roughly, let's say, like end of January, but that's not a hard commitment. It's if one of these issues takes longer, it'll be a little longer than that, but sooner the better.
Okay. And anything else we should be thinking about announcement wise? I think a blog post sounds great. But yeah, just let us know if we should be doing any more of a bigger buzz or letting folks know.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Great. Okay, ticket sign. Don't know if we have Billy on the call. I think I saw a recent release announced. But I'll add that in after the fact. Let's move on to timestamping. Is that you, Hayden?
Yes, you're gonna hear my voice. This is our latest release of the Timestamping Authority repo. So this is super exciting progress. Meredith and I have been working on this, and Hector has also been helping out with the timestamp repo and also making some changes to cosign to support timestamping. This release we cut yesterday. The primary focus is not on the server changes, but on the verification library, which is currently being used by cosign. Take a look, give it a try. We're going to update some documentation there, so it's clear how to use it. But super excited to see the progress on timestamping. The next big things, I guess something else to mention too, is that we have scaffolding now has a test instance of the timestamp authority, and we've also created the necessary Terraform changes so that you can spin up the timestamping authority on GCP, and we have the Helm charts in place. So the last step will be spinning up a timestamping authority for Sigstore in staging to test it out.
Great. Nice. Any comments, questions? Okay, and keep going, Hayden. Let's go into postmortem.
Let me, I'm going to share my screen if that's all right, because this is in a private repo currently. So I'll also mention, by the way, we've been chatting about moving the postmortems out into a public repo with a few changes. But this will be, we'll have this here for now, and then we're going to move these out at a later time. I just wanted to mention this since we didn't have a status update on the status page for this, which, if you're not aware of, status.sigstore.dev has metrics for the current, for the production instance of Sigstore. We had an outage on the 4th due to a memory leak, due to a node pool running out of memory. It was very interesting. We have a prober that runs in cluster to gather metrics. It had a memory leak. It was a long-running process, and after it had consumed all the memory on the machine, another process called Cloud SQL Proxy seemed to not know how to respond to the lack of memory and just began to spin, causing CPU usage to spike, and that caused other workloads on the VM, which included Folcio and Recore, to degrade. And so you may have seen early in the morning 504 errors from full CO and recore. If you're not familiar with postmortems, roughly the structure is discussing impact and root causes, triggers, and action items for resolution. We've got a whole bunch of exciting items for resolution. The TLDR is we found the memory leak already. It's been fixed and updated in production. And we have a number of other tasks, particularly around playbooks and mitigations going forward to make sure that no one process can consume all the memory on a node. If you have any more questions, feel free to ping us in chat in the GA channel or on general.
Yeah, thanks for that. We had seen the reported failures. They're really nice to close the loop and see the behind the scenes investigation and follow up. Any questions? Otherwise, we'll move on. Do we have any updates from the language client instance? Anything Java, Python, Rust, JavaScript, Ruby? Okay. What about docs? Do you have anyone here? Any changes on the docs end?
Yeah, we're going to, there's a known issue that I'm working on fixing with the trailing slashes. And Hayden and I will connect with you about those experimental flag updates.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, so moving on from project updates to just outreach and events activity. First one I had on here was a Sigstore at KCD UK. I think this was 2 or 3 weeks ago in London. Anyone here who was at that event?
I think Luke presented, but he's not feeling well, so he can make to this call.
Yeah, I saw Luke's keynote on Sigstore. Saw some tweets and things going around about that. I'll find the link to the talk because I believe they've been posted now. And I believe there was a Sigstore workshop as well with a good set of folks trying out Sigstore. And yeah, I think Eddie Zane has some feedback, but I'll follow up with him to just communicate back anything there and get the links. Sigstore at FOSDEM, just a confirmation that we did not get the stand we applied for. They have now announced the stands at FOSDEM, and yeah, Sigstore didn't make the list. I don't know if we were notified, but I guess by proxy. Yeah, it's not a lot on security at FOSDEM as a matter of interest, so maybe something we can look to help with over the upcoming years. But yeah, myself and a few others do plan to be there around. I think there's an SBOM dev room and a few other dev rooms like the CI/CD one. Call for papers are still open for those, so I do encourage folks to send in Sigstore talks, and I will also go find the link and put it in the document. Okay, Cloud Native Security Con.
Yeah, just wanted to mention this. So the CFP has been closed for a little bit, but notifications are today if you did submit. This is, I think previously this was a co-located conference, and now it's going to have its own dedicated conference. I believe it's 2 days, I think, in Seattle yet on February 1st and 2nd. I'm going to guess that there'll be probably at least one talk discussing Sigstore.
Yeah, hopefully a few. Okay, and any other events folks are aware of or have submitted talks on Sigstore for, or just want any general, we're happy to promote the events or plug your talk or things like that, just let us know. Okay, So blog posts. Oh, I do believe there's one out this week from Zach and Marina. Is Zach on the call?
I am. This is not a new post. It's been circulating for like a month now. But excited to see it finally go live. And it's basically on as a response to people who sort of have been saying, "Oh, it's signed with Sigstore, therefore it must be secure." And our retort here is, no, that's not quite sufficient. And I wish that it were, but you actually have to be a little bit clever about who is signing things, and so various ways on how to do that.
Nice. Yeah, so take a look and please share. Just other things around in the pipeline. We've done an end of year update for the OpenSSF. It's pretty much a collation of existing blog posts around SigstoreCon and the GA release. But once they do send out their annual report, expect to see Sigstore featured in that. This work in progress towards a end of the December roundup. So if folks have things to highlight in that, please add them to the link in the document. Typically, I'll go through like the blog posts and the notes from the community meeting and the office hours just to collate all the activity we're seeing. But just in case there's something specifically you want to call out, or if you want to just write it up in your own style, that's very welcome as well too. Case studies, I haven't updated this, but we do have one from DB Schenker, and they've just gotten back to us with their final edits. So we should be good to stage that in Medium and get it up either later this week or early next week, seeing how things go. And yeah, I'm not sure that we have a lot in progress, but as ever, if folks are interested in doing a case study on using and adopting Sigstore, just do submit interest on that form there, or just message me and I can talk to you through what's involved. And yeah, just a final plug for the Sigstore landscape. I don't think there's been anything new in there, but we do have a steady trickle of projects coming in. And once we get things like the BuildKite integration, we can feature that on the landscape. Any questions, comments, other things I've missed? All right, any other business folks have or introductions? If you'd like to say hello, that's a great time. Okay, not hearing anyone want to speak. I believe next week we do have our final office hours session. That's the more user-facing Sigstore meeting. And then that will be the final one for this year. And then we will resume back at community office hours on January 10th. So yeah, I think congratulations everybody on an amazing year of Sigstore, and hope you're managing to get some rest, and we'll see you in community meeting next year. All right, thanks, bye.